Well, Georgia's primary results are now in. Several races are headed for a runoff on this one. Want to get an expert opinion. State Representative Gilliard, been in office for a long time, know a lot of the people in this race as well. A few surprises in there, maybe the biggest, Keisha Lance Bottoms with 57+% of the vote in the gubernatorial race.
Unexpected, a powerful night, a powerful testimony on the voice of the voters. And we were thinking that there was going to be several entities of persons having a runoff, but that wasn't the case.
Now, she didn't push herself out there too much, too. She did some social media time, not a lot of ads. Was that part of the plan, you think, or were voters already locked in saying, we believe she's the one we want to?
Well, there were several that had name recognition. There was Michael Thurman, and then Jason Estevez had done a lot with advertisement. But being on the ground is very important. And when you have a presence on the ground, people want to see you. And I think the message was that they recognized more so of her, what her name represented in this race.
On the other side, the Republican side, of course, Rick Jackson has spent any number of amount of money so far. Burt Jones has President Trump's nod on this one. Where do you see that? Because Jackson did come in second. Jones still seems to have a little bit of advantage.
There's a lot of advertisement, and they're trying to discern on who is telling the truth. But those two have had the platform of the media by their buys on radio and TV. So I think you're going to see a lot of that in the next 3 weeks. The voters have to decide who will represent their concerns.
Now, Raffensperger and Carr both didn't do quite as well as maybe they expected. Do you now expect them to go ahead and push behind one or both of these candidates?
I think you're going to have a united Republican Party. You know, in the General Assembly, you've got people in the House and the Senate that already have endorsed Jones, and then there are those that are coming on to endorse Jackson. So I think you're going to see those that will choose sides more so now than anything. And then pending this race, one day before the special session, then you'll probably see a united Republican Party once they get their nominee.
How much of an advantage for Keisha Lance Bottoms to not have to go to a runoff now and be able to spend that money in November?
A great advantage to go and travel the state, to garner the support of leaders and to spread the message, whatever the message will be. And you know, voters, they select their officers that they want to elect, not the person selecting the voters. So she has a chance to go to those voices and hear those voices.
Looking at one of those races that we talked about before, maybe didn't get a lot of attention, Lieutenant Governor, those are two very tight races on the Democratic side. First, you had a candidate come in sort of last second and really make a big impact.
Senator Parks came in, she switched from one position to the other. Senator McLaurin had already been on the battle trail, and they had a very close race. So now there's a runoff, and then you have the lieutenant governor's race on the other side. And so there were several senators that ran. And so now you've got two formidable candidates on both sides. The question is who the people will select.
And on the Democratic side, especially hard when you don't have a gubernatorial race to worry about or a Senate race. So how many voters really come out in a runoff in this case?
Well, they're going to be ride or die persons. I'll never forget when we had a runoff in several situations. Those persons are going to be aligned with that candidate and the candidate's views. So the message in the next 3 weeks has to be very clear, the message to the people, and then the people will hopefully respond.
And quickly from the local side, we're going to get to Congress and Senate in the 5 o'clock hour, but Roger Moss with a big win in this case to hold on to that school board seat.
Very tight race, very to the 100 and some odd votes to the wire. Deion Hoskins was boots on the ground the whole time, and then Roger Moss was spreading the message of we want to continue the progress. So somehow the message was received on both sides, and very, very close race.
Yeah, interesting that one really did come down to the last moment with just a couple hundred votes. Real quick from the primaries perspective, what did we see here immediately from the gubernatorial side that may translate itself into the future? People
want to hear their voices echoed. And not, you know, when I ran for office, my message was what the people say. What's your campaign, Carl? What the people say. So the candidates have to listen to what the people say in order to have that victory.
Carl's going to be back with us to talk about the Senate race as well as the congressional races, all headed to runoffs in this case. So it'll be very interesting. We'll get your opinions on that coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. And of course, Georgia, not the only state with primaries in this case.